calling to order the Borough of Conshohocken Authority meeting for September 24th. If we could do a roll call. Give Shannon a second to get to her seat.
Christine Bertino.
Here.
Jack Ambler.
Here.
Aparna Chibber.
Here.
George Bass.
Here.
Tina Sokolowski.
Here. Okay. Let us stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Alrighty. We are going to actually pause and break for an executive session. We'll start with our executive session and then we'll come back and continue with the rest of the meeting. I think, Brent, you have some personnel
You
and...
want to meet back there, or you want to do it? It's the old.
We should probably go in the back.
Yeah.
If somebody comes in, it's unlikely that someone's going to come in if they could.
All right. So we will be back in session as soon as the executive session Meeting back in session from the executive session. As I stated, we had personnel matter discussion. Before we get started, did we have any public comment? Is there anybody online?
No.
Okay. We have no invited guests this evening, so we'll jump right into the approval of minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes from the August 27th, 2024 meeting?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is the review of financial reports. Do we have any questions related to the financial reports this month?
Well, I already asked this, but what's the breakout of the $191,000 to the borough?
So it is, I believe it's about 187,000 for the stormwater truck and 3,000 and some change for a radio upgrade.
It's all the capital. So this part of our
Capital,
group.
yep.
So it won't be reoccurring, it's just once for the transfer.
Yeah. No, this is a recurring based upon the work that's being, we're contracting the borough to do for the authority.
Plus we're paying 187 for the use of the truck for the year.
It's actually their truck for the, it won't be every year.
We bought them a new truck for the stormwater.
We bought the stormwater team a truck.
Yes. But that's part of the, when we did the capital budget for the rate structure analysis that we did over the last 2 or 3 years, that was part of the capital reserve. So the borough will, part of that is so much a year that we give for capital. And they, part of the borough was to get a truck for their team to do the stormwater system.
But are we on the hook for $190,000 next year, then? Or you're saying it just,
It depends on what the capital
What the-
projects are, which we subcontract to the borough.
okay.
Nice truck, huh?
They're very nice vehicles.
I have a question about, it says switch vendors to electronic funds transfer. So does that just mean that we're gonna be paying those bills electronically?
Yes, those are the ones that I have switched already
Okay,
to ACH.
okay, thank you.
So this is all part of we made, I don't know, last fall or something, we talked about moving more people, so we don't have to sign, not just so we don't have to sign checks anymore, but from general people to move everybody to direct pay.
Yes.
Okay.
And then I just have a request to go into the uniform lines because they're all above budget line, and I just want to make sure that we're in line with the CBA and the expenses on the CBA side, and that we're not going over and giving more to anyone. I just want to make sure we're in line. Any other questions or comments related to the financials?
Well, just that 423,000 you guys highlighted in yellow.
Oh, that I pulled out the 423,000. That is the amount so far this year that we spent on the pipe break.
Okay.
So it's part of the plant maintenance number, but I separated it out so that you could see
Where it's
that is the pipe break, and the rest, we're not really over budget because we're gonna get the money back from insurance for the other.
Gotcha.
If we do go over budget on uniforms, boots, what happens? Like if somebody is overspending their allotment,
We try to adjust the budget for next year and make sure that they're not spending over what they should be. But we did have an intern this year, so that might be part of the reason that it went over budget.
So, couple comments on that. It's a CBA, so they get what they get.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then they
no,
have-
absolutely.
Right?
That-
So
yeah.
we need to make sure of
That
that.
they're getting, and Ed, you are checking that when you get their invoices, right? Okay.
It shouldn't be going over.
Yeah, I don't,
No, they get a set amount of pants and shirts, and the boot
That's
is,
why.
the boot is $1 amount.
Okay,
They shouldn't be going over that.
okay. And then the intern gets the same?
no, they only get certain pieces, like
Okay.
rain gear and.
Okay.
They get, yeah,
They get the pieces that they need to do
Yes,
the job?
yes, yes.
safety equipment and
Okay.
T-shirts.
Couple shirts, t-shirts,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, just take a look at it to make sure. All right. Anyone else?
The miscellaneous fees and permits. You know what that is?
How much is that? It's like 50.
Just a little bit, yeah, like 10,000 maybe.
Oh, miscellaneous fees and permits, that's where we put all of the invoices for the authority. When they inspect a line and stuff like that, we pay the authority and then we put it back into that.
And it just was over what we expect for the year.
Yeah, we don't
We don't know.
usually budget too
Okay.
high on that because
I got it.
it depends on the projects and stuff
Yeah.
that's going on.
Anyone else? All right. Hearing no other questions, do I have a motion to approve the expense report at an amount of $277,356.47?
Make the motion.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Would you do roll call?
Absolutely. Christine Bertino?
Here.
Yes. Jack Ambler?
Yep, here, yes.
Yes. Aparna Chibber?
Yes.
Because I never know.
George Bass?
Yes.
Tina Sokoloff?
Yes. All right, motion carries. Thank you. All right. Now, you have two items listed under financial report that actually looks like they're listed under the solicitor's report. Did you want to give some insight into those items ahead of time, or how did you want to handle?
I can, if you want to. The 2025 MMO is something that we do every year. We do it every year, and it's based on how much the payroll is to date, and then we forecast out the rest of the year, get a number, and then we calculate the MMO based on that. So.
So for those listening, the MMO is the minimum municipal obligation
For the pension
for the
plan.
pension plan.
Yes.
So this is essentially a calculation that has to be done every year to determine exactly what it says it is, what your minimum municipal obligation is to the pension. And there is a formula that's put out, and the chief administrative officer and the chief financial officer look over this information. They come up with the calculation. This year, it's $41,562, and then that's what needs to be put into the PMRS pension fund to make sure we have met our minimum municipal obligation for our pensions.
And then that gets paid usually in September or October of that year.
The only thing that stood out to me on this memo, and maybe I get hung up on stupid stuff, but Brent's listed as interim executive
Oh,
director.
I can change that.
Yep.
Is that going up or down yearly? Typically, I'm sure it's going up, but by a lot.
A lot of it depends, I think, on, yes, the salaries of the employees that are here. So that'll go down when we hire new employees and they start at lower salaries and stuff like that.
Thank you.
This year, actually, it might seem a little lower because we have the two employees that have been out for a little while.
Do you have anything else to add from the solicitor side, or do you want me to make a?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Yep.
So even though people are out on disability, we don't have to put money towards the pension?
Well, because it's based on the payroll, so since we're not paying them, that number's not in the calculation, and they say if they're not here, don't include them.
Okay.
But I believe they're still able to make
They're still.
their contributions
Yes.
if they want, right. But we're not making it because we're not paying them.
Right. So I don't know if you want to approve it during my report, or if you just want to wait till the solicitor's report and we can.
No, it sounds like that there isn't anything else to add from the solicitor
It's a pretty
side.
straightforward calculation. This is one of those things that is really non-discretionary. You have to do it. And the calculation has been done for you, and yet there is a resolution, 2024 dash.
I'm not sure of the
Okay.
number.
Yeah, that's
The
what I was
resolution will be
looking
filled in later. Resolution number will be filled in later.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the establishing the MMO for the pension plan for 2025, 2024.
2025.
2025. And we will fill in the resolution
Resolution
number once Shannon identifies that for us. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. All right, Shannon, your next up is background on your ACH portal.
Yes. So we went back and forth with Tompkins Bank and asked several questions about the ACH. The two big items that we need to decide on is who are going to be the signers of the ACH. So we need somebody to create the ACH, and then we need somebody to approve the ACH. I suggest that we have two people to create the ACHs just in case somebody's not there, and then at least two people to do the second part. We can do it, the signers do not have to be signers on the bank account. So we could set it up where it's, me and Brent that do the ACHs, or we can set it up where I create the ACHs and a board member approves them. However we want to do it is fine with them. Like I said, it doesn't have to be a signer on the bank account, but I suggest maybe a board member be one of the approvers.
And is that a monthly activity? Is that a one-time
It would
activity?
be monthly, and there would be an email that is going to be sent to the people who need to approve it as a batch. It's not going to be, like, if we have 30 ACHs, it's not going to be 30 text messages or emails. It'll be one, as long as we do it in a batch.
And
But-
this is in lieu of signing.
Of signing
all the
checks,
checks.
yes.
So instead of signing the checks,
You're signing one
approving.
batch of ACH.
And it's an electronic signature.
Yes. But if we decide to do the board members and we have all 5 board members, all 5 of you will get the text message or email. They can't just send it to one of you based on me saying, okay, Tina's going to do it this month.
Why would you want one of the board members to be on there, just for a level of?
Just for dual
Safety.
control, yeah. I mean, you are going to see the list, obviously, in the bill list to be paid, and you're going to approve that at the board meeting.
Right.
So if you wanted to do it where it was, Brent and I doing the ACHs, or Ed and I doing the ACHs, we could do that too, because we are not signers on that bank account. But
Would we have a policy in place that it would get signed after
Yeah,
the meeting?
I would do it the morning after. I would set the ACHs.
So we
for
could
approval.
discuss the information. If we all agree to it and ask our questions and get our questions answered, then we could allow the administrative function of that to go back to administration.
Makes sense.
Yeah, how different is this than signing checks?
Well, it takes
Yeah.
it takes us out of the actual physical piece, but I think you have the safeguards that they put in place with these 2 signers as the board. You've got that safeguard now built in electronically.
Yeah. But I mean, it's basically the same thing as signing the checks, except it's
Right.
so, sure. Sure what, right? Sure.
So we'll hand the administrative functions off to you guys to figure out your dynamics of,
The only thing, and I don't know what, Mike, you're gonna jump in or not, I still think there should be an oversight, once the transactions occur, that we should show at least one, the board members what occurred with those transactions somehow. Am I correct on that?
I could send an email saying this is the amount for the ACH or something like that. Like I could do that after it's approved and just say this is the amount that was approved, just as a follow-up.
so if we're doing that pre,
Well, you
At the
are
meeting.
doing that with your bill
You're
list
gonna
to
do
be
it
paid.
this night, say it's gonna occur this night, you're gonna approve it. Then tomorrow, we make the transaction.
Right.
I think that transaction should be checked or approved at one last time for oversight. Again, you know there was an issue in the past with, there was theft of
so is there a
authority.
report that you can then,
Doesn't it come out?
Can we put it in the next
your
month's board
firm
meeting? Can
financial
you,
Yeah.
report?
can you,
Of deposit?
like,
Whatever,
show
payment.
proof of the confirmed ACH transfer at the next board meeting for the last month?
Yeah, we can do that.
I could do something like that,
It would
yeah.
show the proof that the transaction is.
I can put it in my report. This was what
Right.
was
This
approved
was-
by
I just wanna make sure that we have
ACH,
oversight on
just to
this.
confirm the number.
oh, you have oversight.
I know,
Sorry.
I'm just,
Initiate, approve, oversight. That's what you're looking at, right?
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if you put it in the next month's packet, it then goes into the minutes and
Mhm.
you have the
Check and balance.
approval of the minutes by the board, so I think.
And you could just include it in the, approval of the paying of the bills.
Well, and it is, yeah, so it's going, because you're going to approve the bill list
Right.
at the meeting the night before. So just to confirm the number and say, yes, this is the amount that went ACH, this is the amount of live checks, like I could put that in my report and just say, this was the ACH.
What's your title?
Finance director?
Okay, there you
I
go.
can do that.
Exactly.
I can do that for
Just,
you.
just verifying.
That's fine with me if that's.
You do need to designate someone. If you look at the resolution,
We have to
one of the-
decide.
after the whereas clauses, it says be it resolved that blank, and you can pick more than one person if you like it. You have to designate someone for the purpose of this resolution. So fill it in. So Brent is authorized to execute all necessary agreements and authorizations with Tompkins Financial to effectuate enrollment
Can't hear?
in the automatic clearinghouse
Can't
services.
hear you.
Mike.
Yeah, I just turned my microphone on. I turned it off because I thought I was causing the feedback. And then the next one is, be it further resolved that blank is are designated as administrators for the ACH program and are authorized to perform all of the functions identified above.
So you need a name or a title there?
Well, you can, if you give a name and then that person is no longer with us, we would need to redo the resolution. If you do a title, then you're fine. I don't think Tompkins will have a problem with a title being identified, but if they do, we can just clean it up a little bit.
We say the finance director.
Yep.
So it should probably be finance director, office manager,
Or operations.
operations manager, or executive director probably. I would probably put all four, just in case, because you're gonna need the dual control. You're gonna need somebody to create it, and then somebody to approve it. And then this way, there's two, Linda and I could create them, and then Brent and Ed could approve them.
For cross coverage.
Yes, just in case somebody's not here to be
Yeah.
able to do it. That would be my suggestion.
Anyone opposed to that? Okay.
So we would need a
Anything
motion
else?
to approve resolution.
We also need a limit, and I don't know if that's in the resolution, but we need a limit. If you look at this month's bill list, it was 277, so maybe we should start at 300,000. And then we can always call them to increase it if we have something large for 1 month and just keep it at the 3. or take it down to 2 and increase it if we have to, but it looks
What
like.
do, I should know this, but what do we generally average on a monthly basis?
I want to say it's like the 250 to 300, I would.
With, when we added stormwater, it went up.
Yeah, mhm.
So maybe 350? I mean, you don't want to be
20, yeah,
we're so, if we're that
a little
close.
bit more.
And then, like I said, we can always call the bank and increase it for 1 month or whatever if we have to for something larger, but if we start at 350, or if we start at 350 and we see that that's too high, we can always come down later.
Where's everybody comfortable?
Yeah, 350, sure.
350, there you go.
350, okay. I think that goes in the resolution too,
Yep.
but I'm not positive.
Not to exceed, is that the
Not
language?
to, yes, yep, not to exceed.
Okay. All right, so do you have all the information to fill in the resolution? We've got the names, we've got the not to exceed. So I think we are ready to make a motion to move forward with the resolution authorizing the executive director to execute all the necessary agreements and authorizations with the Tompkins Financial to effectuate the automated clearinghouse payments. Resolution number will be inputted once our finance director has identified that number. Could I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everyone. All right. Next item on the agenda, we're moving right into the solicitor's report as we
Nope,
blended the
nope.
two. No?
Approve the financial report.
Oops, didn't, approve what?
I make
The
a motion.
financial report, the whole report.
Oh, the whole packet, that's
Make a
right.
motion to approve the financial report.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Now we can move over to the solicitor's report for his
And
section.
we've already taken care of items number 1 and 2. And item number 3 is a resolution of the Borough of Conshohocken Authority, County of Montgomery, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, amending its rules and regulations. That's why your packet is so thick this evening, because we have given you the full rules and regulations. And what has been added is just all of the stormwater regulations to make them now part of the authority's rules and regulations. I don't think we have made any changes to the regular rules and regulations. We've just added the stormwater piece.
So you didn't do any updates or edits from that perspective?
Anything else? Yep.
It didn't look like you did, I just wanted to make sure.
And this was reviewed at the borough. We had a meeting a month or two ago to finalize all this, and it was conjunct to that. And my last correspondence with the borough manager, there's been no comments, and they're good with it as well. Because I want to make sure whatever they have on their books is going to mirror our as well, so, with the definitions and everything else. So it's all good. This is the, I mean, there's going to be many more items, but this is one of the last items to complete our process. And as, again, Mike's office did a wonderful job getting this together, and even working in conjunction with the borough. I'm glad that we're in the position we are at this point.
Is this the last, like, administrative function to finalizing everything?
Yes.
It should be. I don't think there should be anything else that needs to be done. You know, I can't say there won't need to be a tweak here or there, but I think this is, as you said, the last major administrative function that needs to be accomplished.
There's a long process. This started actually back in April to get where we are with it, to make sure everything, was sitting down with our engineer, make sure all that, sitting down with the borough, and there's a lot of steps to get to this document to make sure we're in good standings with our stormwater.
So the stormwater piece was taken from, who came up with the stormwater piece then? Like, it's part, you're saying it's part of the Conshohocken, it's part of their.
The items that are out here, we sat down with our consultant to make sure that all our definitions are correct and overlapping with the borough definitions, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, like, I'm just trying to figure out where that language, who wrote this language?
It was conjunction with our engineer and working with Mike's office and working with the borough. Their borough engineer plus the borough, they get all these definitions and court items in here, correct?
And our engineer's the.
HRG.
Right, HRG. No, it's
Oh,
the-
HRG in this case?
Yes.
for the stormwater.
For stormwater is HRG,
Right.
with his
Yeah, I was gonna say for.
Tyler Herb, if you remember Tyler.
Yeah.
And those, they did seem reasonable from what I just, my only, we're updating, we're now giving this the stamp of 2024. Would Fred want to look at the, yeah, because all these other regs are now start just.
That was a part of this as well, too.
He was, okay, so
I
he
asked
was,
Fred, I'm sorry, a specific question around BMPs, that I was just uncomfortable. I don't know if it was last month or 2 months ago when he explained it to myself. He had been involved, right?
Yeah.
so he, yeah, okay, so he's happy with keeping all the sewer regs the same too, because obviously we don't get the, okay, that's good then.
Yep.
I have a question about people who don't pay their bill because the stormwater charges are being added to the sewer bill. If someone's not paying their sewer bill, where is the lien getting applied to?
So the lien is applied to the property itself.
And
When the payments come in, the stormwater gets paid first and then the sewer.
the stormwater gets paid first.
Yes.
Well,
Stormwater gets paid first.
And if you want.
No, if you have $100 bill and it's $80 for sewer and $20 for stormwater and you only pay $80, we're gonna pay the stormwater bill of $20, apply the $60 to your sewer bill, and then you're delinquent by $20 on your sewer bill.
On the sewer, right.
And then when you hit a certain level, and I can't remember what our level is,
$250,
$250, then we lien your property.
yes.
And I don't think we've done it for a while, but when you hit a certain amount, then we go after you in court. I don't think it's,
We do water shutoffs.
we do shut-offs,
We
right?
do water shutoffs usually every summer. Most of the time, we get responses and they set up payment plans or they pay the balance. So we haven't had to shut anybody off.
And we just went through a round on Friday, we issued liens, and we got some responses already.
Yeah, I mailed.
About a month ago, we sent out letters to everyone that owed, we got some responses over that as well.
Yeah, I
So we
sent
are
out-
getting more aggressive, we are getting aggressive, because our uptick is occurring for our
So I sent out 568 delinquent notices. I received 197 payments, so about a third from the delinquent notices. And then I sent out lien letters. I sent them out this Friday, the 20th. I've already gotten 7 payments. For the I sent out 86. I've gotten 7 payments so far.
So 595 over the last month?
586 I mailed out last month. They were just delinquent, and they weren't necessarily $250. It was whoever was delinquent.
Is that normal? Or that's way up, I guess?
We haven't sent delinquent notices previously. This was the first time I've actually sent out delinquent notices
Okay.
through the new system. And it actually gives me a count and says, there's 568 of them. It seems a little high to me.
What time frame did you,
I gave them 10 days to respond to the delinquent notice.
what's considered delinquent? 1 month, 2 months, 10 months?
After 30 days.
We think this is the stormwater related thing? Or it's just a bad?
I mean, some of them, they're not paying any part of the bill. So, I don't know if it's the economy right now. I don't know if it's,
We're definitely getting everything to people. There's no way at least messing that
Well,
up.
that's where I was going. Like, do we know that we've got the system squared away with all the right addresses and that some of the uptick isn't
well,
just
we didn't get
move over?
500 back. We only got like a stack like this of delinquent notices back. So 10 or so that were returned to us.
And
Where
nobody-
they went, I don't,
Nobody told you I didn't get it, or?
right, nobody has, no.
And the lien letter, is that just a, if you don't pay?
Yes, yes, so we send out a
Required by law
30-day.
That before you lien their property, you
Yes.
have to give
Yep.
them notice. Delinquencies tend to go up in September, October. People are away during the summer, they're not paying attention during the summer, they're doing other things during the summer, they're spending too much money elsewhere during the summer. So pretty much all of our authorities find that delinquencies go up in September, October, November, and then they level out for the rest of the year, so.
It was zero? I'm sorry if I'm making, it was zero before this? All the other ones?
No.
No, no,
No.
no, no.
No, she's just saying she hadn't sent out.
We haven't
Okay,
sent
so
out,
it's
we
a-
haven't
Yeah,
sent them
yeah.
out.
Okay, okay,
You can expect 8 to 10% are gonna be delinquent.
okay.
And it's a matter of how we're gonna address it. I know I was speaking based upon, even my conversation last week with the borough. I made a contact immediately that night on how we're gonna get more aggressive. And then, Mike, if you wanna step in or how we're gonna go it, it's however we wanna get it. We are doing the steps, you work with Aqua, but you eventually get to the point, if no one's paying, again, you can take them to court or however you wanna proceed.
So, because of the way the Authorities Act is written, normally you try to say you don't want to go after somebody for $250 because you're going to spend more money going after it. But the Authorities Act has the ability to fee shift, so anything that we have to do to collect a bill, the legal fees and costs can be recovered. I think the process that we have of leaning people after $250 is a good process. We're going to get paid eventually. They're going to move, they're going to refinance, we're going to get our money eventually. But I think it might be time again to start revisiting the people who aren't paying for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 quarters in a row, and their bill starts getting upwards of $1,000 or so. We may want to start taking them to DJ court. We do get our money back. It does seem to get their attention. Word spreads pretty quickly when this is happening. But I also think the lien letters are very effective because the lien letters that we send list all the costs and fees. Because after you put in the filing fee, after you put in legal fees, after you put in an administrative fee, you may be delinquent $250, $300, and the fees are going to be another 200,
305.
300.
Yep.
Yeah, so you're doubling your bill, so.
And you do payment plans, so.
We do payment plans.
Someone doesn't
We
have the
do
money.
set up payment plans. Typically, what we ask for is half down, and then the rest split over 12 months. We do try to work with them. If they can't do the half down, we do try to set up payment plans that are more convenient for them, and always ask them, if you can't pay the minimum, what we're asking, please call us and let us know so that we can, work on it. Sometimes they set up a payment plan and they pay 1 or 2 months and then they fall back off, so.
Do we put a percentage on that, or we just let them pay?
I mean, I still send the statements. I send them for a while until it's a couple, 6 months or so that they're not paying, and then I stop. And then I put them back on the lien list, and then I put them on the water shut-off list if it's high enough.
Yeah, but I don't think if somebody's $500 delinquent, I don't think we're letting them pay $5 a month.
Oh, no.
They have to put a certain amount of money up
It's gotta
front.
be a decent,
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then, when we make them kind
We're
of,
making them pay 500 over the year, though. We're not like charging 8% on top of that or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's an odd question. Is all this covered in the rules and regulations?
our rules and regs?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, so all these details.
And it's also
are
all covered in
contained
the
here.
Municipal Authorities Act.
yes.
It is a very good question, because if it's not contained in your rules and regs and you're assessing these fees, it's an absolute defense to this, so, but yes,
Right,
it is all.
we're kind of
contained.
arbitrary and
Yep.
even capricious at that
Yep.
point.
And we are also looking at, to see if there's a company out there that can do the liens.
It's an option if you,
with,
we're not saying we're
with,
going that way.
right, yeah.
I
And,
prefer-
and they can call and they can chase them,
Like a collection.
like a debt collection, yes. We
So
are
the-
looking to see what that would cost, but,
So there is some legislation in Harrisburg right now that would allow delinquent municipal authorities liens to be transferred to the County Tax Claim Bureau to be collected along with delinquent taxes and other delinquent fees. The Pennsylvania Municipal Authorities Association is not really totally in favor of it at this point in time, so we don't think it's going to go very far at the moment. We think it's probably going to get a hearing and then it's going to die, but it is in the works to discuss, so.
Would it be tough to put like the last 12 months on a graph or something, just say how many we did per month? Is that-
We can do it. We can.
Just
we
to
can
be,
probably-
just be curious to see September or, I don't know, something like.
see
So
how
you
many.
used to do graphs on how many were outstanding. There was a time when you had done some graphs like that.
I have the payment plan graph in there, but not a graph on our delinquent, and I do have the AR spreadsheet on there, but not a graph for that.
It
you
may
want a
be
graph-
helpful to have the number of residents, and then we can trend
Number
the
of
months.
residents that are delinquent?
Yeah, and then we can trend the months over time to say, and to validate what Mike actually said, September, October, November. That way we can kind of plan accordingly, because, if we don't get the income, we can't pay the bills.
Right.
So,
You might, yeah, we see something around that stormwater time period as well, when we implemented that or not, but anyway, that'd be awesome.
I can see if I can get a graph together of the,
I don't want to keep talking about this, but what percentage of your time are you spending on this then, if you're doing 560s?
so when I did the delinquent notices, that one actually is in the system, and I'm able to just generate it
Okay.
and have mailroom systems or Cassell print them out for us. The lien letters I have to do by hand, because I have to put the certified mail number on there and all of that stuff. So those I have to do by hand. Those typically take about a week or so to get done before I can mail them out, depending on how many I have.
could be an additional cost added to their,
The liens, there's, like I said, legal fees, filing fees,
Yeah,
administrative fees.
so it's like $305 for the legal fees. I also apply the certified mail fee to their account,
but not your time,
but not my time,
the
no.
administrative time.
Yeah,
which-
no.
So just out of curiosity, we had the gentleman in here a couple of months ago who was traveling and couldn't pay his bill. And he just said no, because he wanted all the lien fees taken off too.
Mhm.
And we said no. Did he pay his bill?
Yes, I believe he paid the bill.
Hmm?
I'll have to double check. I don't know if he paid the lien fees.
Okay.
I'll double check and let you know.
I'm just, it's just like a real world example of what we're talking about.
I'd be concerned if he didn't pay the lien.
So would I.
I'm sorry.
I didn't want to follow up, but I thought, because I've already said two.
Well, so I want
But
to
then
say
he's
that
still
he.
delinquent.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, he would still be delinquent, right, and the lien is on there to cover
Right.
the lien fees and
Yeah,
when he
so
sells.
the lien doesn't get
So
removed if he
it
just
doesn't- yeah,
pays the
The lien won't get
balance.
removed
Yeah,
unless the balance is zero,
yep.
so it'll eventually,
Work itself out when he sells it.
when he sells the property, right.
All right, any other questions related to the rules and regs
I have-
document?
Our approval of this is like the official sign off, right, of the rules and regulations? Where is this master copy then stored?
It's in the authority's office, and usually when somebody's coming in to do a project, in the town, in the borough. They'll ask for a copy of the rules and regs, and,
Okay.
yeah.
It's also,
on
I
our
believe,
Just a curiosity question, sorry.
It's on our
it's also on the
website.
website.
Oh, great.
That was gonna be my next question.
Yes.
It's actually it's in separate segments also, so you don't have to scroll through the whole thing. You can just click on what you're looking for.
That's a little bit of my concern on the year, with the 2015 or 20. Yeah, just that's, I don't know if those are, anyway. If we look at
What's the
those.
matter? Are you having a problem signing off on 24 things in September of 24?
Yeah, I just don't, if the regs haven't been updated in 10 years for the sewer, that's the part that just makes me, or, you know, a lot of them we have to follow the state typically, and they don't really update a little more frequently than that.
Yeah, I think our rules and regulations are in pretty solid shape right now.
Okay.
I don't think there's anything major in there that would need to be changed, or, again, to the word of the evening, there might be a tweak here or there, but I think our rules and regs are pretty up to date, so. And a lot of times, your rules and regs will reference, you don't want to put in the specific language from DEP. You'll say, you know, the DEP rules and regulations in effect at the time, so, yeah.
Do we need a motion to approve this?
Okay, are we done in our discussions?
I'll make a
That's
motion
right.
to approve.
All right,
I'll
I
second.
have a motion and a second on adopting the revisions to the authority rules and regs related to stormwater management. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
The final action item this evening is a motion to approve a sanitary sewer easement agreement for the project located at 401-433 Washington Street. The developer is KRE Acquisition Corporation. The deed of easement is in your packet, and this is a pretty standard easement that we do when anyone's coming in to do work. It allows us to have access for all of our sewer lines.
It is in the packet? Because I don't have anything in that
Oh,
section.
I'm sorry, I thought it was in the packet.
Yeah, I don't think I
Oh,
saw.
It might not actually be in the packet, but it was on the.
It was on the
Came a little
Dropbox.
later.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a boilerplate easement that we do, so.
I thought I saw it.
Yep.
All right, any other questions on the easement agreement? Hearing no other questions, do I have a motion to approve the sanitary sewer easement agreement for the project located at 401-433 Washington Street?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
And that concludes my report for the evening.
Great, thank you, Mike. May I have a motion to accept the solicitor's report for this evening?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are going to defer the engineer report until next meeting.
Yes, there's no action items from
Yeah, he has
Fred
no
tonight.
action items.
A motion to defer the engineer's report until next meeting.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Operations manager report.
Okay. As you know, we were having our biannual maintenance project dealing with our electrical substation. So that was completed this month. They started, I think, the first week of the month. And they go in, that's where they shut down one leg coming into the plant. And so that's all out of the way. And so hopefully, you know, it's all clean and everything's working nice and neat. And we want to make sure we try to stay on that. As with the age of the system, we want to really just keep an eye on that. The RBC project, we want to clean the A train. We want to do some maintenance to it. So we're taking the B train, which has been out of service for quite some time. So our staff went through and they changed belts, bearings, and actually we put it in service today.
Wow.
So they did a really good job getting that together. They really knocked that out. So it's good to know that that thing's still running, especially if we ever need it in a high flow situation. So that's going really well. The only other thing I have is you might notice the different logo up there. We never had, well, I don't know, since I've been manager, I've never been able to track down the actual vector copy, if that's what they call it. So the production crew here was looking for one, so he asked if he could just throw one together, so I don't know, is there something we need to do to adopt that, or can we use that as our new logo, or?
I don't see why.
I don't know if there's an
I don't see why
official,
you couldn't. You know, you can't trademark it or,
no, but, I mean, can we use it on our letterheads and shirts and,
sure.
okay?
Anyone opposed to using the proposed logo on letterhead?
Although, I would say this, because we ran into this problem in White Marsh a few years ago. We may want to run this by Borough Council before we adopt this as our logo. Because
Gotcha.
in White Marsh, we tried to use the identical one to the White Marsh Township Supervisors, and they told us, no, we don't want there to be any confusion. And as I am looking here, it is the identical logo of the borough. So before we start using this, I think we should probably send it over to Stephanie and ask her to take the pulse of Borough Council as to whether
Gotcha.
they're okay with it.
You can specify that we have green and the borough is blue.
I think
It's a
you,
different font.
I think-
Is it a different font?
I think he changed the font. Our old one was very similar to that, it was just the
Yeah.
weird lime green. But no, I'll definitely go through that.
Do you have all 3 trains running right now then?
We do, yes. We will be taking the A train out of service so we can do some maintenance to it.
How long does it, because you're basically building up the biomass on those RVCs, right?
Yes, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring in some seed sludge, some trusted seed sludge from another plant to speed up the process.
Okay.
So we anticipate that probably taking about at least 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then once we do that, we can take the A train out and do what we need to do.
And I'll just jump in. Over the last 3 to 4 weeks, we've been having some loading issues on the A train. And it's no different, if you know it's no different than us getting upset. So the biomass that's growing on, and I believe on the A train, is not adequate. So that's saying we didn't get a hit from something that causes an upset, which it can. It doesn't take much to knock any type of plane out. So what we did is I was working with Ed and Keith, we started seeding last week, and they also did a lot of work on trying to get different biomass to grow. Because our organic loading on our effluent was climbing. We didn't violate, but we're minimizing the chance of violation. So, and amongst this, we discussed getting B train online to get this transition, whatever these organisms aren't working effectively. So we started seeding last Thursday with sludge from facilities that we're comfortable with, that we're not gonna cause an upset with another plant. So we're trying to offset any type of organic upset on our permit. And it could be correlated, the month of July was a very hot summer. It's probably the hottest that we've had in 5-6 years, which can cause different organisms to take over. And so we're just reseeding with some sludge, and no matter what, we have to start seeding on B anyway, just to kickstart that. So we started kickstarting on A last Thursday or Friday.
You're bringing in, you're refeeding the bugs in A with the seed, even though you're taking it down, just to see if you can get it back
We
online.
had to. I mean, I just didn't, I wasn't comfortable with, the first unit was becoming way overloaded, which shows that we have some type of growth, and they worked for weeks to get that loading down before, I mean, we can get loaded on,
Massive
and it breaks,
units.
it could break the unit.
Right.
I mean, I don't know how many tons we were over,
At least 3.
3 tons of weight on top of that media. And that can just crumble the media and just ruin it.
What are you trying to run at for that? It's 3 tons now, but what's like a good weight for one?
Well, there's a warning area. It's not in tons though, it's a conversion. Like whatever that number is, it's like between 46,000 and 51,000. Whenever it gets in there, that's when you want to start paying attention. I think when it gets over like 54,000 is when you got to take some serious action, so.
And it's directly correlated to pressure, because the maintenance staff do a pressure loading on the weight.
You bringing Steve from a fixed film place?
Seed?
Yeah, you can't.
I have
you
a
to do
facility that I run out towards Hershey. and I know it's gonna be, there's no outside commercial waste, and I'm not comfortable bringing plant from another plant, because we could bring heavy metals in
Yeah.
and blow the whole plant out. And so it's,
Problems that solves.
I've been doing this, seeding the digester, what's 3-4 years?
Yes.
So we bring in the seed, the authority has no cost to bring the seed in. The person that we're getting rid of sludge pays for the disposal, so we're actually getting the seed at no cost. Because if not, then we have to go to another plant, hire a contract, and then it costs us $1,000 to get the seed. Well, again, I'm working knowing the system, we don't get charged for that seed. And I don't feel comfortable with taking it from any plant
Yeah.
that has a potential of heavy metals, because then we contaminate our own cells. And I go with the devil I know is myself. That's,
Transport it yourself?
I don't transport it. We have a JG, the JG and Environmental, they're a hauling company. But it's no charge to us.
No change, no huge changes in the influent though, like loading wise or?
No, nothing's changed.
ammonia or
I,
phosphorus?
you know, I can't get down to molecular, I mean, I think the organisms that were growing were just going, the wrong organisms.
Probiotic, it's all good.
It's interesting, yeah. okay.
It can happen in a deviation of 5-10 degrees. I mean, the month of July was brutal. And then with the sunlight hitting all those units, I mean, you're talking 120 degrees hitting those shrouds. And you get different growth of organisms at different temperatures.
Right now, we're getting colder weather, so, yeah, I don't know if that's, but you said it started long.
It started in the month of July, and it started really upticking over the last, 3-4 weeks.
Yes.
And bad organisms take over, and you just don't get the efficiencies, just like us getting an upset stomach.
Give them probiotic.
Exactly why you do that. You reseed yourself. The digester is no different than our own gut.
All right.
Great.
Anything else, Ed?
Police my report.
Awesome. Anybody have any other questions for Ed? All right, hearing none, do I have a motion to accept the operating manager's report this evening?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. All right, next up is the executive director's report.
I explained the issue with the loading in the RBCs. If you happen to look at the graph that was presented in the financial report, it is unbelievable where we stood. If you see the trends of the graphs for the sludge loading over the last 4 years, they continue to do a downward trend. And this year, I would never expected that we'd still have a downward trend. I attribute that to Ed and his staff with Keith doing all these little tweaks that we do all the time to optimize. And again, that goes back to the budget. We're only at 22% of the sludge budget, which is a huge part of our budget. And we're gonna have another process now that we got the primaries all back online properly. Now, our next step is how can we get our digesters even thicker, which presents, if we get thicker sludge, means our detention times goes up, which means we break down even further. We can knock half of this out, if our normal month's 4, we can do it consistent 2. You're looking at $4,000 or $5,000 a month savings or more. So we're gonna continue to do that. Just to note, it's not a note of concern, but if you notice, there's a major hurricane coming in and that will be hitting the southern part, which is, any of you know about ports and, from Mississippi, Alabama, a lot of the chemicals that come in that we utilize comes in from those ports. Now, I know this hurricane's hitting directly correlated to the Panhandle, and it's gonna be a nasty one. So just to be aware, we'll make sure we have contingency plans for our chemicals, but a lot of our polymer resins all come in the port of Mississippi, which is, they're not getting hit, but the Panhandles. Last week, made a quick presentation for stormwater let the borough know where we stood with where we head with that process. We're also moving to, and you can be a part as well, as we're going to be upgrading our website to make it, I think, more user-friendly. We have to be more upfront with the stormwater and put tabs and everything else that's very I call appeasing an eye, that they can get to where they need to get right away. So that's gonna start upticking. And that basically completes my report. And the other items on there, we already discussed in executive session, the union item, and we'll be setting up a meeting for 2025 budget over the next couple of weeks as a entire meeting.
While you're talking about the website, how would you feel about not printing the newsletters and just having them on the website instead of inserted with the bills?
Does it save us money or?
It would save money, yes.
Sounds like it saved a lot of money, but,
Printing, postage.
you know,
Yeah, because then the bills would just be the one-page bills rather than the bill and the newsletter.
If it's online, we could also do something like collect data, like how many people actually viewed it. Because we can't really tell when
Right.
people get it in the mail, if they look at it or they just throw it in the
Yeah.
recycle.
And I can put a note on the bill saying if you want to view the newsletter and put the website.
We can put a tab there, and I know the computer individual, they hit a tab, they open it up, at least you know it's being read.
Right.
I mean,
How
there's a whole bunch-
often are we doing the newsletters?
Every
Quarterly.
quarter with the bill.
Quarter.
Yep.
That we wouldn't really, we try to limit it to 2 pages just because we're mailing it. I mean, we would do as many pages as we wanted to. We could add more photos, we could do bigger reports.
and you got historical, you know, you got issues you can look at.
Yes.
Not you, one can look at.
Mhm.
Let me ask this, if somebody wanted a printed copy, could they contact the authority to print it for them and get it
Absolutely.
to them?
Absolutely.
I'm worried no one's gonna read them, though.
I don't think anybody reads them
know if they
anyway.
read them.
I've had comments before.
It's cheaper if it's online and they're not reading it.
Right. It's just that, I mean, I already have it sent for this bill, so it would start in December.
And we already discussed that, if someone wants one in person, we will send it to them.
We can always
I mean, I would
email
not
it to
do that.
them, we can print it, we can, whatever they want.
At least you know if a person calls and they want a hard copy, they're actually reading it. Like, it's worth the expense.
I don't know if that we need a motion or anything for that. It was just something to talk about and think about. Also, something to think about, I know we talked about in the past, changing the bill dates to make it an actual quarter rather than,
Thanks.
so we should think about that and when and if we want to do that.
You say it again? What was the second one?
Oh, the second one is the bill dates. Currently, we are not on a calendar quarter. Our bills go from 3/4 to 6/4, 6/4 to 9/4, 9/4 to 12/4, 12/4 to 3/4.
Yeah.
To go in line with stormwater, it would be better to be on a regular quarter basis. But when we do that, we're gonna have to send something out because there's going to be one quarter where there's going to be 4 months worth of reads rather than 3.
So we kind of did that to them already once this year. I
Right.
don't want to do that
Right.
again this
So
year.
that's why we need to decide when we wanna do that, how we wanna.
Don't we already have, we have 12/4 to 3/4, that's 4 months.
Well, it's, yeah, but the
It's not on our
reads, the
full
reads are not.
calendar.
The reads
year
are on
quarter.
3 months.
Basically,
I
it's
see.
12/4 to 3/4, but the read is like 12/28, 1/28. So they'll get hit with 4 reads of consumption on one bill, and then it'll go back down to 3. So I just want to keep that on the radar.
Let's not do it so that they get hit with that in September, because
No,
they're
no,
not
no.
paying their bills now.
Or December, because they have holiday stuff.
Right.
September bills should be on their way out the door by Thursday, so we won't be doing it for the September bills.
Sync up in spring or fall of '25, and then we can do some kind of announcing
Yes, yep.
and notifications.
Okay.
Even though we kind of did that with stormwater, so we still had people very shocked that they got it.
Right. Right.
I'll start asking around about the newsletter, just to to feel people out, because I'll be talking to lots of people over the next several weeks.
Okay.
It would be kind of interesting to also do a survey on the website, like how many people are visiting the website.
Did we put a counter on there?
I don't know if
We
there's a
talked
counter.
about putting a counter on there. It wouldn't be hard to do, I'm sure.
There's always a counter, it's just whether or not that counter's visible,
Gotcha.
right?
Right,
Oh,
they're
we
collecting
got somebody who
anyway.
knows a little bit about websites here.
In the
I like
digital
it.
world, there's nothing anonymous.
Okay. That's all.
Okay.
So that means.
So no
approve.
decisions at this point?
Yeah, no decisions, just keep it
Things to
on
think about.
the radar. That's all.
Okay.
I do think that when we talk about it, though, it should be a vote, don't you?
For what?
Like the newsletter stopping?
Oh, yeah, I
or
think so,
copy.
too.
Okay. And even
To make it
switching the
official.
billing to be
Yes.
full quarter? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I would, if you guys talk to your neighbors, I would suggest just getting out and asking some questions for the people you know and talk to.
Sure.
And then, like I said, I'll be out talking to a lot of people over the next few weeks, so just get a feel. All right,
I have one more item. Staff met with Plymouth, which is an annual thing that we're supposed to do, meet with Plymouth on our capital plan. Our capital plan has not changed. Fred gave us the document to hand in when Ed and Shannon met with Karen and their new finance director. The meeting went very well. And it was a meeting that lasted, 15 minutes, right?
Yeah, it
So it was a
yeah.
good meeting. It's just, we had to do it as a formality. And again, the capital, you know what's going on with our electrical grid internally and our pump stations. And we continue to push things further out in the future based upon our available dollars. So really nothing has changed, but it's a formality every year. And it's been one of the, I've been told, one of the contentions that the authority was never providing. Well, we were due November 1st, we did it already.
so they can put it in their budget.
Yeah.
Make sure there's no surprises.
And the capital plan, the expenses to Plymouth over the last couple of years has been negligible, zero, almost zero.
A couple years, zero.
Because we've been, getting into our grants and everything else, we've been very successful at.
Can I ask a question about one of the projects on Washington Street that has a portion of their project in White Marsh and then the portion in Conshohocken? The portion in White Marsh, like how does the sewer part of that get split up?
It's not going to in this case because 100% of the flow of all 4 buildings is going to enter our pipe.
Okay,
So we're going to get both the
So we're gonna
collection
get it all.
and the treatment, yes.
okay,
Whereas the other one down at 901, it was their pipe, so they got the collection and we got the treatment portion.
Okay.
So, but that'll all come to us.
all right, so it's simplified that way. I
Yes.
was just wondering how complex that gets when it's split like that. Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
All right,
That completes my report.
anything else?
Nope.
Okay. Anyone have any questions for the executive director? Hearing no questions, do I have a motion to accept the executive director's report?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, anyone opposed? Motion carries. Anyone have any old business or new business that they want to discuss this evening? Hearing no new business, do I have a motion to adjourn our meeting this evening?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries, meeting adjourned.